that can serve the web pages. Second is the network communication that happens, which is the API calling or API request, or this is what we call API requests. And the third thing is the front end, the things that are shown on your kind of device, on your web browser, on your mobile device, on your laptop, and so on. So these are the three things that happen. Although usually we say two things because these are broadly categorized into front end and back end. Front end includes the ability to kind of call the back end, get the data, dynamically update the data, and so on. For example, forms. Um, any form in VTop or in any place, right? When you can say, let me go to github.com. Just give me a minute, github.com. So if I go to github.com and if I press the sign in button, it asks me for a username and email. So I can enter some random username and I can enter some random password. And when I press the sign in button, the request hits the server of GitHub. GitHub says, so GitHub server is kind of sleepy. We are disturbing that. Just look at it as some sort of a person. If someone comes to your door, you wouldn't really let them enter as it is, right? You would say that, just give me a minute. I have someone on call. I'll be back in just 30 seconds. I'm so sorry. I had to go. Okay. So yeah, just like you as a person, whenever someone comes to your door, you wouldn't really you wouldn't really let them have anything they want, right? So think of it as a service. Think of it as a think of yourself as a customer. You are using Zomato and there's a restaurant, right? So whenever you kind of ask Zomato to deliver some Shahi Paneer to me, what will happen is the delivery guy will go there. The delivery guy will ask restaurant that, hey, this random person XYZ, since I see the names, and I'll take some random name here. So Aditya is asking for Shahi Paneer and garlic naan. So it will go there. The delivery guy will go to the restaurant. Restaurant owners will confirm first. Are you a genuine person? Is it request really from Aditya? Do you have any OTP and so on? Once all these things are confirmed, they will process, they'll make some Shahi Paneer and garlic naan for you, and they'll hand it over to you. And then the delivery guy will come to Aditya's place and then hand over the package to Aditya. The same thing is happening here. When I did this, so this browser kind of acted as the middleman. It sent the request to the GitHub server. GitHub server processed this request. They checked their database whether do they have any ASD, ASD a random username. They found that they did not have, and they sent back something. They sent back a response that this is an incorrect username or password, and my browser kind of showed this on my screen. So whatever you see on the front end is front end, whatever happens behind the scenes is back end. So usually this API calls and this whole process, whenever I press enter, it makes an API request. This is what the network calls are usually called API calls. So these API calls are a part of front end itself. That's why we don't really have a third category. Ideally, we can have a static front end, a dynamic front end, and a back end. But if we think of it in that way, then back end can also be divided into database and request processing, load balancing, and so on. So at the end of the day, we'll end up having n number of categories. So that's why we don't really divide it into three categories. We say everything that happens in front of the user is front end, and everything happens behind the scenes is back end. And now I want to know, if you understand this, you've almost understood web development. And once you understand web development, how to create websites, how to create servers is just a piece of cake. It's it's not that difficult. You can learn that through any YouTube video. You can learn that through any online video, or even your college professors are going to teach you when you are in your second or third year. It's the course name is I think web engineering. I don't really know. Of course, they're going to teach you JSP and ASP. I believe they should kind of update their course syllabus. Nobody uses ASP right now. People do use .NET, but ASP and JSP are kind of legacy systems. People do use this, companies do use this, but yeah, these days new things are Node.js and enterprises usually use .NET. Those are some different things, but I want you guys to answer me. Do you know what is front end and what is back end now? Has it become a part of your soul? Like even after 10 years, if someone asks you what is front end and what is back end, would you be able to explain them? If you have not reached that state, then I'm not going to proceed further because yeah, my goal is to play with your souls right now. I want to embed that knowledge in your soul because do you know why people say there's this? I usually like to quote this. Um, there are a lot of quotes in Hindi language, in Sanskrit language to be more precise. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu. You must have heard about this, right? Why do we pay so much attention? Why do we pay so much kind of importance to Guru? Because knowledge is actually something that is a part of your soul, and when someone is delivering any kind of knowledge to you, they're actually showing you the path to your own soul. A lot of philosophy. You might not understand it right away, but yeah, uh, kind of yeah. I'll get back to the topic. But yeah, unless and until everything that I'm going to teach you today becomes a part of your souls, I'm not going to proceed further. I have a lot of time. And I know Charu will be mad at me because she told me that you have to cover everything in 50 minutes. And we are already crossed 30 minutes. So yeah, I want more yes. Unless and until I get at least 10 or 20 yes, I'm not going to proceed further. Come on, guys. Do you understand what is front end, what is back end? And trust me, I will hold you till 8 p.m. if you guys want me to, but I will not proceed further unless and until all of you understand everything. Cool. So we have a lot of yes. Perfect. And now I'm going to go very quickly because this is something that is just a path. I'm just going to show you a path where you can go. If you guys want, I can show you some hands-on coding as well. I can show you some hands-on implementation as well. But of course, I cannot show you hands-on implementation of everything in just 20 minutes. That would be practically impossible. But let me just give you some quick information about why should you choose web development, right? Whenever we start something, whenever we start learning anything, the first question that it's not only about learning whenever you do anything in your life, the first question that you should be asking yourself is why? Why am I doing this? How will this benefit me? What is this thing? Usually I've seen in India, people don't really do that. Why did you join? Why did you why did you take BTech? Why did you there were so many things. Why did you take science stream in your 11th class? Most of you don't really have an answer to that. It's not really like a lot of you not a lot. I would say 100% of you would end up becoming software engineers. But did you guys really have that dream? As in, do does did any one of you in your 10th class had a dream of becoming software engineer? I would say no. The answer is definitely no. One or two people might have it, but no. Then something happened. You saw a lot of people, thousands and lakhs of people joining science team every year this happens. Millions of students join science PCM stream in their college. They join and they don't even know why we are joining science. And then things happen. They waste. I call it literally a waste. They spend 2 years. They waste 2 years studying for IIT. None of them even ask why IIT. Like if any one of them really asks it, the answer would probably be to get a good job. Is it not possible to get a good job from some other place? What do you really mean by a good job? You want to earn more money. Is it not possible to earn money in by becoming a Bollywood actor? Is it not possible to earn money by becoming an Instagram influencer? That's much more easier, I would say. Spending your 4 years of your life into studying random shit that you're not even going to use throughout your life. Chemistry, physics, maths. Maths is good. I can't hear anything about maths, but yeah, chemistry. Who the hell is going to ask you? Um, who is going to ask you? Tell me the formula of this. I don't know. I don't even remember anything in chemistry. Just let it be. But I recently saw that meme yesterday. Yesterday I saw that meme. There was this very sad guy who was thinking another day in my life has passed without me having to use this knowledge of mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell. Right? Same thing my engineering professor told us also. Yeah, yeah. This is basic, right? Why don't you ask why before doing anything? Once you ask why, a lot of roads will open, a lot of paths will open in your life. Because unless and until we ask why, we don't really know our options. We're just following. How many of you, like, how many of you actually use that knowledge, chemistry, physics? 0%. 0%. But it's still sad that we waste 2 years of our life studying physics, chemistry. I cannot hear anything about maths. Maths is magic. And but anyways, um, studying chemistry and then studying chemistry to that level, to IIT level, it's not that easy. It's very tough. And then just to crack IIT, which only less than 1% of the people will be able to crack, and then everyone will go to some college or the other, and then in the 4 years they'll study some random things just to end up in a software engineering firm, and then they will study competitive programming so hard day and night just to crack the coding interview, and then they'll end up seeing that whatever they learned up until now is useless. The chemistry that you learned, useless. To get a job, you would at least need to spend 6 months of sleepless, if not 6 months, at least 3 months of sleepless nights to study competitive programming, data structures, and algorithms. I agree that basic data structures would be required in your job, but trees, hash maps, linked list, rarely hash maps is very, very important, but trees and linked list and graphs, rarely you are going to use. So why should you learn that? I'll not give this answer right away. I'll leave it up to you. And the reason to that why is very, very important. These all topics are very important and they are actually going to help you out. And I leave it to you guys to actually figure out why were you made to study chemistry? Why were you made to study physics? Why were you made to study data structures and algorithms when you're not going to use it? But anyhow, the gist of it is till now, everything that you have did in your life, you have not did that. You have did nothing. Everything that was done through you. The decision was someone else's. It might be your parents' decision. Uh, it might be your teacher's decision. It might be someone else. But you were not doing. You were just a medium. Unless and until you own a decision, you cannot be called the owner. So now start asking yourself why. So the reason to why web development is that I can give you a few incentives. You're not limited to college degree. Laptop and internet are the only bare bones that. So let me tell you a few things. There are 10-year-old, 12-year-old people who have developed websites and are earning a lot today. When I say websites, it's not just about front end, it's about back end, it's about applications, it's about scalable applications. It's not limited to your college degree. You might be 16-year-olds and you can still be a better web developer than me. You might be 14 years old and you can start a startup. The best thing about web development is it gives you power to create your ideas. It gives you power to implement your ideas. A lot of you might have a lot of ideas these days. You might be seeing a lot of things going wrong in your college. You might be seeing a lot of things that can be improved. So one thing that I genuinely believe in my life is whenever you see something and think that why doesn't someone improve this? कोई ठीक क्यों नहीं कर देता इसे, right? A lot of places this happened. Why doesn't someone improve this thing? You should ask yourself, why can't I? Let me be that person to improve this. And when you start seeing the world in this way, you will get thousands of unimplemented ideas that you can implement. And web development is just a medium that you can use to materialize those ideas. Money can be a goal, but money is not everything in your life. You should have a purpose. So I can just give you some incentives. You can earn while you learn. First month, learn front end static web pages, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and Bootstrap. Take up a freelancing project. You can easily learn. You can easily earn 5,000. 5,000 is kind of yeah. That's the maximum limit of you that one static web page can give you, not more than that. Then once you do that, start learning about more front-end applications like React.js, AngularJS, Vue.js, and so on. Once you learn React.js, take up big scalable applications, build some side projects, and then take up more and more freelancing projects. And there's no end to it. You can earn in lakhs and then l- start exploring Node.js, start exploring backend. That's it. There's no end to it. It's as I told, it's a it's a endless it's an endless ocean. That's the best thing about it. I am keeping this treasure in front of you. You will have to walk to it and take as much as you can. Yeah, Preksha, we know you are in room, so please mute yourself.
Yeah, Priksha.
Okay, that's the best part about college. I miss that life. Yeah, have fun, guys. This brings me to one more topic, more than web development, more than anything in life. Enjoy your college life. This is not going to come back. So yeah, okay, coming back. There are endless reasons, right? Now you know why web development. I've given you thousands of incentives. You know why web development can be for you. And I think the best are to you do not need anything apart from a laptop, which most of you would already have. And internet, your college already gives you. And if your college does not give you internet, just take a Geo subscription. Uh, just do this 500 rupees recharge, and you can get 2 GB data per day for 20, for I think 56 days. So internet is almost free. Laptop costs a little bit, but I think most of you would already have it. That's it. For Android development, for iOS development, you require hardcore machines. For iOS, you require a Mac. For Android, you would require a good processing power. For web development, you do not need anything. That's the power. And second thing is, you don't need anything, but still you can develop a website right now in just next month, which can be used by millions of users. That's the best thing about web development. And the best part is you don't really need to learn Android app development or iOS app development anytime. Once you know web development, you can actually build Android and iOS app using the web technologies. And that's the future of web. Cross-platform apps, hybrid apps, PWAs. You must have heard about React Native, Flutter. Flutter is not really a web technology, but React Native, Cordova, all these are actually web technologies which can enable you to kind of build mobile apps. So let's start this journey. Everything that I had to tell you is kind of over. Now I'm just going to show you a roadmap, which is going to get over in just 5 minutes. First thing that you need is a toolkit. What do I mean when I say a toolkit? You need a laptop, which you already have. You need a good web browser, Chrome. Well, of course, when I wrote this kind of blog, at that time, Chrome was the only one. But right now, I seriously prefer Edge more than Chrome. It's very much faster, not because I'm working in Microsoft. No, that's not it. But trust me, you can see the stats. Edge is much, much faster than Chrome. So yeah, now you can use Edge or Chrome. Those are the only two web browsers that I can think of for web developers. There can be more. It's up to you. Then a text editor. I use VS Code. You can use Sublime Text, Notepad, but don't use Notepad. Trust me, Notepad is worthless. So yeah, I use VS Code. That's it. This is your toolkit. This is how your VS Code will look like. This is just a text editor, just like you have your Word document, just like you have your PowerPoint. This is also a way to kind of write text, right? You can create HTML file. Just give me 1 minute. Oh, it makes life easier. See, I can create a simple web document in 1 second through these shortcuts, right? I can say my HTML document. I can say, let's say I want to put one H1 tag. That's it. Hello. Then I want to put some paragraphs. I would say paragraph into three paragraphs. First one is has first para. Second is have second para. Third one
पता
has
चल गया
third.
नहीं हो रहा था देर से, क्योंकि मेरा ब्लूटूथ ही ऑन नहीं हो रहा है।
वो हो जाएगा ब्लूटूथ और तुम्हारा, डोंट वरी। अभी यहाँ पे फोकस करो पहले। चलो, so yeah, that's what I wanted to show you, that this having a good text editor makes your life as a programmer, as a web developer, very very easy. You can, right, इतना लंबा चीज
अब
लिखने में मेरे को
क्या
टाइम नहीं लगा बिल्कुल भी. It just took me 4 or 5 seconds to write all these 16 lines of code. That's the benefit of having a good text editor. I prefer VS Code. Definitely close your eyes and go for VS Code. Then SSH tool, just don't think about it right now. You will require at the end. Cloud storage, it's optional. You can even use Google Drive. You don't really need some host hosting storage. It's good to have some of your own hosting storage provider, but you can even use Dropbox or Google Drive. That was just the toolkit. When you have to build a house, you first need tools, right? When you have to build something, that's just the toolkit. Then you start off with the process. Learn HTML, then CSS. 1 month. I'm just giving you 1 month to learn HTML and CSS. Use this book, HTML and CSS by John Duckett and CSS by John Duckett. Just search about it on Google and you can easily find the first PDF. You can find it for free. That's it. Use this 500 pages. Implement every example that they gave. Don't kind of just read it, implement it. Everything that they give you, every chapter that they have has a example, and you have to implement all of those examples in your VS Code. Just open VS Code, create the index.html, write the code, and then open. You can directly open the index.html file, and that's it. You have it here. That's cool. 1 month, right? 1 month to learn about HTML and CSS, not more than that. Even if you study for 30 minutes daily, maximum 1 month it will take. Then start basic JavaScript. If you want to learn it from somewhere, you can just go to YouTube and search web development JavaScript bootcamp. Or I would say if you have some 400 or 500 rupees to spare, you should spend actually to learn in your learning. Don't even hesitate to spend thousands in your learning. It will pay you back. So go to Udemy. Udemy.com is an amazing place where you can get any course for 400 rupees. What are 400 rupees? The amount of knowledge that they are going to give you, it's much more than 400 rupees. So yeah, just go to Google and just take any, you can just go to Udemy and just take any web development bootcamp. If not, you can go to you can either go to freecodecamp.com.org, or you can go to W3 schools and start learning JavaScript. 1 month for JavaScript. These are some basic concepts. And then your homework after 2 months, clone your favorite website. What do I mean by favorite website? What is your favorite website? Can be anything. If you want, you can clone my website. My website is madhavbahel.tech. Right? You can just go to my website, madhavbahel.tech. I'll place it here and try to clone it. Right? See what all it has. Know more about me. It has this section. Then it has the project section. Then it has skills section, it has get in touch section, and so on. Okay. Um, then yeah, you can learn about all. Yeah, you can just try to implement after 1 or 1.5 months. You don't really need any hardcore JavaScript for it. You can easily implement everything that this has in CSS, HTML, and CSS. Although for a few things like this pop-ups, if you just reload this website, you are going to see a pop-up. So this pop-up cannot be made without JavaScript. So basic JavaScript would be required. So that was your part one. Then your part two is deployment. Now that you know HTML, now that you know CSS, now that you also know JavaScript, uh, deploy your website. You can use some free deployment services like um, Google GitHub pages, and so on. I have mentioned a few things here. Just go through them whenever you get time. You already have the link. If you don't have the link, I'll paste it here. theleanprogrammer.com/IEEE-WIE. Just learn about these things. Just Google about these things and you can learn. Of course, there is no way. Even if I stop the time right now, even if we were on some planet where 1 hour of Earth is equal to 1 year of that planet, still I would not be able to teach you uh, all these things, all these things in 1 hour, of course. And that was not the motive. My motive was just to enlighten you on the path of web development and exploring. It's an endless treasure. Take out as much as you can, as much as you can. There's no limit to it. So now that you know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can call yourself a web designer. You can build some simple, attractive websites for startups. You can do UIs for web applications. You can do some simple internships and so on. Now, the fourth step is the time for the major decision. Now, the time for the decision is whether you want to go for backend development or you want to go for front-end development. So I would say go in this order itself. I would not say, yeah, I would prefer this. This databases would be included with server side. So just forget about this fourth. I kind of wrote this separately because it's a huge topic in itself. But I would say after learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, try to learn some CSS framework that is Bootstrap. Bootstrap is best. Materialize is also good, or Bulma, or Foundation, or so on. Then build another static web page once again. Now you will have two projects in your portfolio. One would be this, then one would be some other, something, some any website. Then build your own portfolio website. Just like I have this portfolio website, build your own portfolio website where you can write about me, where you can write your projects, and so on. And then start learning server-side development. When I say server-side development, I would recommend you guys to learn Node.js with MongoDB. Although you can decide to go with PHP, with MySQL, PHP is kind of outdated right now. I would not say that it's legacy yet. It's not legacy yet. Okay, do you guys know what's the meaning of legacy in terms of software development? Anyone can go uh, unmute and tell me what is legacy? I'll tell you this, Devanshi, 1 minute. Before this, I want an answer. Anyone, just a random guess. I have used this term legacy at least 50 times till now in this past hour. Just tell me, what do you mean by legacy? Any one of you could have gone unmute and asked me what is legacy. If you don't ask, how will you understand? Don't don't fall in the trap of fake understanding. Yes, that's kind of correct. Legacy is something that is just that is that is not new. That's it. It does not have new. It's a very old software that is just in the maintenance phase, and it's risky to kind of add more features to it. It's kind of like that. Legacy means this much, that no one wants to work on it. It's very old, but it's still not out of the market yet because people are still running it. You still have users. Anything like that is called a legacy software. So PHP cannot be called as legacy. Uh, PHP cannot, like, legacy is lasting impact on world. I don't really understand what do you mean by this, but yeah, it's kind of legacy basically means that it's very old. No one wants to work on it, but it's still there in the market because it is there. It's very risky to kind of move it out. It's People will be working to shift it to new technologies. Uh, Legacy just means one step before gone. So it's the n minus one step. One thing you can say is it's no longer there in the market. For example, there are a few apps, right? Um, there are a few technologies as well, like Basic. Basic used to be a programming language. No one codes it right now, right? Turbo C++ or Turbo C. From you, a lot of you must know Turbo C from your school days. If you did computer science in your school, not a single company uses Turbo C now. It's completely legacy, but your schools are just teaching it. because I don't know, it's there in the curriculum. That's it. That's why they're teaching it. That is the exact definition of legacy. No one wants to use it, but still, since it's here, it's here. But it can be removed anytime. So it's very risky to go on legacy softwares. So do not go on legacy softwares because that is kind of in a risk to it can go out anytime. So PHP is not legacy, but it can go out anytime as well. A lot not no one prefers using PHP. Cool. So Devanshi asked me what is the PSD to HTML CSS conversion. PSD basically means Photoshop design. Photoshop, if you are aware, Photoshop is an app in which you can do UI designing. Currently, I use Figma. I'll give you some examples. Um, if my laptop supports me, Figma kind of makes my laptop very slow. I don't know why. So if you see, this is my portfolio website. What you see here right now, the thing that you see here, it's not like I kind of magically went on creating it, right? It's absolutely impossible, or at least very inefficient, if I just go ahead and start coding. That's not how the things work. So if I have to be absolutely honest with you guys, this is how I started. And oh, what happened? It crashed. Why did it crash? I don't know. So whenever I have to build any project, whenever I have to build any kind of software, the first, or at least in front end, the first thing is I take a pen and a paper and create a rough layout on pen and paper. And then I kind of move to Figma. This can be done on Photoshop as well. And that's why I have mentioned Photoshop, because a lot of people prefer using Photoshop. But these days, trends are changing at an exponential rate. Photoshop is losing its importance in UI development. Figma is taking over the market. So I would say go ahead with Figma. Do not go ahead with Photoshop. So this is what I did after that. I kind of built a rough structure that this is what my website is going to look like. And then I finalized it here. It's just a designing tool. Like if you see, I can move this around. If you see, I can just design anything I want. So I kind of designed it here. And once I had the designs ready, if you see, I created some vectors, I created some frames, I created some card components and so on. And once this design was ready, I went on coding the HTML and CSS part of it. So this is what I mean by um, Photoshop design or Figma design to HTML CSS conversion. And that is your kind of fourth step done here, front end development, back end development, and that's uh, then you can learn some side technologies, Git and GitHub, SSH, CSS precompilers, which is Sass, less. I'm not going to tell you what are these, but I want you guys to explore. And then if you have any doubt, just connect with me on Instagram. In LinkedIn, I'm a little bit inactive these days because I don't know. My kind of inbox is over flooded, and it's kind of I'm kind of lazy to reply to everyone. So yeah, in Instagram is still something where I don't really have that much crowd. So you still have a chance of getting a reply on Instagram. So go ahead, give it a shot. Connect with me on Instagram. I'll give you the um, link. It's this instagram.com/the lean programmer. I keep posting programming memes and some random stuff which I learned. Um, Programming memes are fun. So yeah, if you like that, just go ahead and connect with me on Instagram. I'll paste my ID here. Cool. So yeah, these were a few things, and then you have some opportunities. After the fifth step, you can create simple to advanced web application. You can build backend APIs. You can teach fellow developers. You can work with servers, database, network security. I know that 99% of the words that I have spoken today, all of them went over your head. And the most unfortunate thing is that none of you care to kind of go on mute and ask me, hey bhaiya, what is an API? Hey bhaiya, what is a server? What is a database? What is network? What do you mean by freelancing? What is but it's okay. I can understand that as a student, you might feel shy to open up in front of your teacher or in front of your lecturer, but it's okay. It takes time. And I just want to let you know that since I have taught you in this session, I see all of you as my students now. and I am available for you guys. Just ping me if you feel shy to kind of go unmute in front of 60 people that are present here. You can ping me on Instagram. No worries. I can try my best to reply to as many of you as possible. But don't just ignore the things that you don't understand. And this website also have some roadmap which you can follow. That's it. Uh, and the magic of web development, you can do mobile app development as well. Basically, there are two types of mobile application. First is native, and second is hybrid. The native application is something that is built on Java, Kotlin, and the native technologies. Hybrid application, on the other hand, is something that is built using some other technologies. That's it. So the next step is keep learning and focusing. Focus on your career. Make a good profile. Can you share the link of this roadmap? Definitely, yeah. It's there on the website that I shared originally, theleanprogrammer.com/IEEE-WIE. Then um, keep learning. This is what I call technical or knowledge stacking. Learn HTML and CSS, good. Don't stop there. Learn JavaScript, stack JavaScript on top of it. Good. Don't stop. Learn Bootstrap, stack it on top of it. Good, don't stop. Learn React.js, learn Node.js, learn MongoDB, learn MERN stack development, build applications, go ahead, do some jobs, do some freelancing, get some internships, go ahead for some good jobs, build new projects, build more new projects, shift to another project, build it from scratch, shift to another project, build it from scratch, learn DevOps. DevOps is basically development plus operations. Learn about DevOps. Good, do that. Learn about automation. Good, do that. Build some project. That's it. All you need to do is have fun, because the thing that I see about entertainment is that on Netflix, on Amazon Prime Video, on any platform, everything is limited. Um, you can take any um, good video, any good video series, Mirzapur. It was good, but it was limited. After it ended, I felt so bad. Then there was this another one, right? I forgot the name, where this Sartaj was the main guy. I don't really remember what was this name. It came in 2019, I guess. Some random Netflix series about some, I think Guruji was also there. I don't really remember, but it was limited. Every good video series or movie that you can find is going to end. But this is something that's going to never end. And that's the beauty of it. That's the most exciting part of it. So do these things. And this is a basic rule which I follow, 2010. Every month, for the first 20 days, learn something new. It can be anything. HTML. If you take 20 days in HTML, I am okay with that. But learn it thoroughly. Spend 1 hour every day. And the next 10 days, build a project only using the knowledge that you gain in last 20 days. So if you build one project every month, taking 10 days, you will have 12 projects at the end of 1 year. And after the end of 4 years, you will have 48 projects on your GitHub profile. And trust me, 48 projects are more than enough to satisfy and impress any interviewer. You can get any job. Meet next time. So the technologies I recommend is React, Redux plus Webpack. You can learn it from here. You can check out my free tutorial, theleanprogrammer.com/AAM. Um, Again, I'm not promoting my videos. Uh, if you feel something else is good, you can go ahead with something else as well. It's completely fine. Then learn GraphQL. Before GraphQL, learn Node.js. For Node.js, you can go to Udemy and just go ahead with any bestseller Node.js course. Then go ahead with GraphQL. Um, Check out this Udemy course. Or if you want to learn for free, you can learn through this video. Then progressive web apps, and then React Native or Flutter or both. This is what I would recommend you. You should know your 1 year roadmap should look like this. So we are having this session on 23rd July 2022. So if you guys remember me by 23rd July 2023, just ping me with whatever you learned. I am setting a target in front of you. You should learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, along with Git and GitHub. Just keep noting it down. Keep noting it down. I'll just. Oh yeah, Sacred Games. That was Sacred Games. Yeah, one good series. It was one amazing series. Yeah. Anyways, so I'm give you some things that you have to learn: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap. Then learn about Node.js plus MongoDB. Then learn about React JS. Then plus Redux. Then also learn about some CSS precompilers. Also learn about Git plus GitHub, CSS precompilers. Then you can say some bundlers. Um, yeah. Then you can say the next thing that you should learn is build 5, 6 full stack applications. Then learn GraphQL with 1, 2 side projects. Then learn React Native. Then learn Flutter. This you should know all of these things by next year. Trust me, I explored all of these in just 1 year when I started web development. So I'm not kidding. It's very much possible. So yeah, do this until we meet next time. That's it. I know I took a lot of your time, but I think this topic itself is very important and it's big. So I could not rush through it. Thank you so much, and special thanks to this GitHub profile from where I took these roadmap images. This is not something which I created on my own. These images because I didn't really feel the need to, because they have already done the work. So yeah, one important principle is kind of don't reinvent the wheel, right? Leverage, which means leverage the work that others did. That will make your life very easy. Cool, that's it. Um, all over to you, Charu and Rupashri. I think you guys are the coordinators, right? Yeah. And we can have some AMA sessions as well if you have time. Otherwise, anyone can feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram account.
So if you have any doubt, you can mention in the chat box, or you can even raise your hands and ask your questions.
Yeah. I would love it if you guys go unmute and actually I can get to hear some real voices and not some texts. I'm fed up of this virtual environment from last 2 years that yeah, I really want to hear some real human voices rather than these texts. Yeah.
Bhaiya,
So
can
how
you
many
hear
of you?
me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I don't really know who is speaking right now. Can you just give a quick introduction about you? Just 10 second, your name and
Hello,
which
hello all. I am Aditya Shah and currently pursuing BTech in Information Technology from Asansol Engineering College. And
year?
I love to do. I am currently in second year.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So what's your
Yeah,
question?
my doubt is, can we go on practicing DSA and doing web development from scratch?
If you are in second year, that's exactly what you should do. If you are in your third year, maybe you can do, depending on how well you can manage things. If you are in fourth year, forget about web development, just do data structures and algorithm, because getting a job is very, very important. So yeah, you got your answer. You have to do this. There's no other way. Like, um, if you just go ahead with data structures and algorithms, um, you will feel that other, I don't know, you will miss out on a lot of things if you just do DSA, because development is a lot of fun. And if you just do development, that will be harmful a little bit, because your interviews, the job interviews, your internships, you cannot get internship without uh, DSA. So just plan your days accordingly. Divide your days: Monday DSA, Tuesday web development, Wednesday DSA, Thursday web development, Friday DSA, and so on. And just do 1 hour of each daily. For DSA, so it's very, very simple. Just do 2 questions daily, 30 minutes each. Very simple. For web development, yeah, just watch some tutorials, build projects, and so on. You have to do that.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I got my answer.
Cool. Any other questions?
Guys, please ask your questions if you have any doubt.
I think the terms that I said today, legacy softwares, web engineering, React, Node, GraphQL, all of, I guess everyone is just so overwhelmed with these terms itself that uh, I didn't really intend to scare you off, but that's the beauty. Like, that's, have you heard this saying that fear and excitement are the same? Whenever you get to do something new, some people would feel fearful, some people would feel excited. They have the exact same symptoms. Whenever you feel fearful, your heartbeat will increase. Whenever you feel excited, your heartbeat will increase. Whenever you feel fearful, you might get those goosebumps. Whenever you get excited, you might get the same goosebumps. It's all um, yeah, it's all how you perceive it. So some people will get scared of the number of things that in front of them. Some people will get excited and say, bring it on. And I don't know which one of those are you.
Some people has posted in the chat box. So may I read the
Amisha
question?
said that, yeah, I think what is C sharp and where can we learn this? C sharp is just a programming language, just like C++, just like C, just like Java, just like Node.js, JavaScript, just like other programming languages. C sharp, first of all, it's not called C hash, it's called C sharp. We write it C hash only, but it's pronounced as C sharp. Um, yeah, it's just a programming language, and it's kind of good, a very good programming language. There are some, it's kind of like Java. It's you don't have to do any memory management. It's automatically managed, so it makes your life easier as well. And plus, the base of .NET. If you have to learn .NET framework, C sharp is very necessary because .NET is written on top of C sharp. So I would say if your goal is to kind of build backend applications or backend services, if you want to work as a backend engineer in some big firm, go ahead with C Sharp because most of those enterprises use .NET. Where can you learn this? Udemy. Go to udemy.com and just just type C Sharp, and you can take any of the bestseller course, which is more than 4.5-star rating. Alternatively, if you want to do it for free, just go to YouTube and just say C Sharp tutorial and just do the most liked ones. That's more than the source. I think there are hundreds of sources where you can learn it. I would say just pick up any one. Don't go with more than one because otherwise you'll feel too much overwhelmed. Just pick up with one and do that and build some projects. Unless and until you build projects on your own, every tutorial out there is worthless. That's what I would say. Just do any videos, YouTube videos, and build your own projects. How can we handle competitive development and competitive coding simultaneously? First of all, there is no such thing as competitive development. That is the best thing about development. That's why I love development and I hate competitive programming. You have no idea. I never kind of I never hate someone. I don't hate any person. I don't really, because of course it's a bad feeling, like it's a negative feeling, and we should try to avoid all the negative feelings. But there are two kinds of hatreds that I can never ever remove from my life. First is I hate chemistry because that's so worthless. I still don't know why did I spend 2 years of my life doing that. And second thing is I hate competitive programming. And that's the exact same reason why I love development, because there is no such thing as competitive development. It's collaborative development, because development cannot be done alone. You'll need more people to develop a software. Do you think Zomato can be built alone? No, they have a team of 200 or 400 engineers. Do you think Teams, the product that you are using right now, it could be built alone? No, they have a whole team. They have hundreds of people working on Teams. Development is not possible alone. Competitive programming is means competition again. Just put the competition aside and do some collaboration. That's how can you handle that together? As I told to, um, as I told just a few moments ago, divide your days. First of all, you would need a timetable. Without a timetable, you can't really do a lot of things in, at least in your college. So have a timetable, divide your days. Monday, competitive programming, Tuesday, development, Wednesday, and make it alternative days on purpose. And that's, this is something which we call spaced repetition. Give some space and then repeat. Give some space and then some repeat. That's it. I'm facing problem with doing DSA. Can you please suggest me some ways? Um, good, very good question. So DSA, I didn't really want to kind of give a spoiler at this point itself, but I'm kind of working on a new YouTube series on DSA. I'm pretty excited about it, but don't expect it before 3 months because I'm kind of working on it. So yeah, so that's what I was telling about.
Maybe some
Hello.
network issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There was a power cut here, and my Wi-Fi is not actually connected to a UPS. So I'm so sorry for that. But yeah, I think we had quite a good discussion. And yeah, so that's what I was telling about, that I'm going to have a DSA series, but don't wait for it. So if you're facing problem with doing DSA, the best way that you can tackle is do very easy question. Harshita, which year are you in? I want to answer this question based on how much time do you have for your interviews. So which year are you in? Just write it on the chat section or just go unmute and tell me. Second year, right? You have a lot of time. So for the next 20 to 30 days, just practice easy, very, very simple problems. Very simple. If you want some, I can suggest a kind of a code base. Let me kind of share this link with you. You can actually follow this. Let me share my screen if you guys want. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So you can just go through it. Just do the beginner level problems for the first 10 or 20 days, and then slowly proceed. Or you can go ahead with this itself. Um, Again, you can actually find all the solutions online. You can find the videos online. This repository itself, when I say repository, it's just this place where I'm storing all these code. This link does not really have video solutions, but you can easily find the written solutions and the algorithms. So yeah, try doing this. What I want you to do is practice the easiest questions, very, very easy questions, which even a child can do for the next 20 days. What that would do is that will make uh, competitive programming and problem solving a habit. And once you get that habit, you can slowly improve. You are in second year, you have a lot of time. You actually have 1.5 years. So leverage that, leverage the fact that you have a lot of time and enjoy doing it. Take things slowly, do beginner level problems. Just take this advice and do beginner level, very, very, very simple problems for the next 20 days. And you yourself will increase your difficulty slowly. That's what we say while we are teaching someone, or when someone is learning to drive a car, right? If you know how to drive a car, or if you ever learned how to drive a car, the first thing that your instructor is going to tell you is drive slowly for 1 month, and you would never even know, you would never even notice when you start picking up the speed. It happens automatically, and that's the same thing with competitive programming. Do the most easiest things and you would not even understand when you become an advanced level competitive programmer. That's the only thing that I can say. Do as many easy problems as you can.
Any other
Okay,
question?
yeah, I think there's no other question on the chat, and um,
Okay,
yeah,
so
I guess we're done.
yeah, so that was a memorable session. We were deeply inspired by you today. I want to express my gratitude to you for taking time out of your hectic schedule to motivate us. Your life's lesson inspired us greatly to aspire and learn from you. We are grateful to you for today's interactive discussion, and thank you all for being the lovely audience.